Welcome to Movie Math and Science. In this video, I'd like to give some study tips to help visual learners. We all learn in different ways. Some folks like to listen to what they are learning. Others have to touch or grasp what they are learning. And visual learners like to see what they are learning. You may be a visual learner if you answer yes to any of these statements. When given directions on how to put something together, you prefer pictures over written directions. When someone is lecturing, you create pictures in your mind as they are lecturing. If driving on a trip, you prefer a map over written directions. Here are a couple tips to help with visual learners. First off, when learning or writing your notes, you may want to try to highlight your notes. The bright colors will stand out and will help your brain engage. But don't just stop there. You can also use different color for different topics. Look at this example of a mind map, which is an example of notes. Notice how they use different colors for the different topics. Secondly, you can convert your notes into a mind map. There are several different ways or types of mind maps. Take a look. Here would be an example of a mind map. And remember, these do not have to be perfect. They're just to help you. One simple way is you draw a circle in the middle. Say I'm learning the cell organelles. Okay, organelles. I would write the title of what I'm learning in the middle. And again, you can convert your notes into this, or as you're doing a lecture, anything that helps you visualize it. And say I'm learning the organelles. We've got the endoplasmic reticulum and maybe a ribosome. And I'm not going to go into every one of these, but you would write all the organelles you're learning on the different spokes. And then you can either write the definition here, or you may want to draw it. And I know that ER is like passageways, so this reminds me that they are passageways. The ribosomes are tiny little organelles that are protein factories, so I'm going to draw a factory. Anyway, that is one example of a mind map. Very simple. You can convert your notes. Another example, this is a lot more sophisticated. Looks a little busy, but if you literally can condense a page, 2 or 3 pages of notes into something like this, and then you can visualize it, and it helps you learn a little bit easier. Convert your notes into a graphic organizer. This is great for a visual learner. I'll go over an example now. Example of a graphic organizer. And again, you can take your notes and draw something like this. I wanted to show you this one because, as you can tell, we didn't spend a lot of time on it. And it helps you visualize all the different points. And you would write some notes about the red blood cells here and about the white blood cells here. And here's another example. Now this one is a little bit more sophisticated. It would take a lot of time. But again, you could convert a lot of pages out of the book or a lot of pages of your notes to a nice graphic organizer. And also you're learning as you're setting this up. Okay? And then here would be another example, just another example of a graphic organizer. And it visually helps you see what you're learning. Learn to memorize using pictures. Many memory masters use pictures to help them memorize. For example, some use a technique called a journey method, where they use a route that they go over often, and they use prompts along this familiar route to help memorize material. I'll give you a quick example. I have a favorite running trail at the park, so that will be my journey. I start at the bench, and I'm going to try to learn some of the organelles of the cell. So I imagine a brain is sitting on the bench. I use the brain for the nucleus because it's the brain of the cell. My next stop on my journey is a large tree where I stretch daily. So I imagine the leaves and photosynthesis, which represents the chloroplast. I would continue this in my mind as I go along the journey until all the cell organelles are memorized. In fact, many memory masters use numbers, memorize numbers by converting the numbers into pictures. I'll link to a video that shows a memory master doing this. Next study tip is you can use flashcards. and always include pictures on them. Here's an example. Okay, to help you visually with your flashcards, I've written the name on the front. This is RNA, and then I've already written the definition on the back. Nucleic acid present in all living cells containing uracil in a single strand. And so what I would do is I add a picture, and I'm drawing single cell, and I'm going to write a U on these because that tells me that it is different than DNA because it has this uracil. The point, you don't need to learn about RNA, but if you're a visual learner, and the more pictures and visuals that you can add, the easier it will be for your brain to memorize. If you have a lot of dates that you need to order, or anything that goes in a logical order, use a timeline and draw this timeline out. You can also convert your notes into an outline. Here's an example. Okay, here's an example of an outline, and this would be condensing lots of pages down to kind of bullet points and an outline. Notice that it is highlighted, and you could also use different colors if you had different colors. And it just, for instance, we could use green to represent something else we're learning. But as you can see, the colors and the outline helps you visually memorize a lot of material a little bit easier. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps with memorizing and study tips for the visual learner. And Moo Moo Math and Science uploads a new math and science video every day. Please